So Barack Obama claims that he is less of a spender than his predecessors. You know what? I don't really have a script to go off of. I have a few talking points, but I'm just gonna go down the list because this is the most absurd thing I have ever heard in my entire life. You know what? I knew that Obama was desperate, especially since now Rasmussen has him trailing Mitt Romney, but come on. Even the most ardent Obama supporter has to see through this bullshit. What he is saying is that he only raised spending a few percent. But let me back up here. Alright. As you all probably know, we right now have $15.7 trillion in debt. Barack Obama has raised that debt more than George Bush did in his entire 8 years in the White House. And to say anything else is insulting. It's insulting to the American people. It should be insulting to you Democrats too. He must think you're real idiots if you'll buy this bull. Okay, so first of all, let's take a look at Obama's funny numbers on this. The government spent $96 billion on Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac's takeovers in 2009, but only $40 billion on them in 2010. By Obama's numbers, that's a $56 billion difference, and it was a spending cut. So he is claiming, let me repeat that, he is claiming because the year before, they spent $96 billion on a bailout, and in 2010, they spent only $40 billion, that's a spending cut. So you see? No. This is what he's trying to pass off to us. It's like the stimulus, and here's something I bet you didn't know about the stimulus. Did you know that the stimulus is reapplied every single year? It has become the baseline. When he spent that $1 trillion was spent in 2010, 2011, 2012. It will be spent in 2013. It is now the standard. So when he says he hasn't increased it, what he means is he hasn't increased it more. Let's back off of this for a second. Let's assume the stimulus did help the economy. It didn't, but let's assume it did. Let's say your car gets into an accident, and you go out and you buy a new car. This is like if your car broke down, you went out to buy a new car, but every single year you bought a new car, and claimed that it was not increasing your spending. Well, I spent the same amount last year, so I'll just spend the same this year, and that's not a spending increase. Yes, it is. And taken together, TARP and the Fannie and Freddie takeover give Obama an undeserved $317 billion swing in the 2011 figures and resulting in a 1.8% cut from 2009. A fair reading is almost 8% according to the Boston Times. So we have $15.7 trillion in debt, $57.5 trillion in total debt, $119 trillion in unfunded liabilities. That is $1,047,000 for every man, woman, and child in the United States. And Barack Obama thinks for a second that he can claim that he is not responsible for a huge chunk of that? It is absurd. And the worst part about it is he believes that we can get this money by taxing people. It's absolutely ludicrous. You could take every single dollar from every single person in the top 10%, in the top 20, in the top 50%. You could take every single penny from every single person in the United States of America, and it would not pay off our national debt. So you know what? Screw you, Barack. And now we hear, of course, that 46 million people live on food stamps, while at the same time, only 53% pay the top taxes. Let me break that down for you, because this is really some interesting stuff. So, the top 1% pays 36.73% of the taxes. The top 5% pays 58.66% of the taxes. The top 10% pays 70% of the taxes. The top 25% pays 87%, the top 50 pays 97%, and the bottom 50 pays 2%. You heard it right. The top 1% pays the vast plurality of taxes, and the top 50% pay just damn near 100% of it. So we are actually in a situation where if you're in line in the grocery store and the person in front of you is paying with food stamps and you're not, you, as your 50%, are paying for her groceries. Isn't that just special? And Barack Obama wants to claim that taxing's the problem. Taxing has never been the problem. Spending is the problem. Stop spending so much money. Stop trying to use the tax code to break people down. The tax code is there to get the government revenue. It is not supposed to equalize people. And you can hear it the way he talks. Listen to what he says. He says things like wealth redistribution. That is not what the tax code is for. The Constitution does not provide this power to the federal government. It provides them the ability to tax, but it does not say, alright, I'm going to tax you this way more than this person because you make too much. Who gets to decide who makes too much? And we're supposed to sit down and take this assault on freedom while the United States Constitution, a guiding post of liberty, peace, and individualism, is twisted into a hammer and used to beat people down, make them more equal, say, you make too much, you don't make enough, so we're gonna tear this son of a bitch over here down until he makes less. See, I think Margaret Thatcher pointed this out real well. Liberals, and Obama especially, they would rather the poor were poorer so long as the gap between the poor and the rich was smaller. When the fact of the matter is, every single person in the United States is better off than they were in the 1970s. The rich get richer, and the poor get richer too. You know, there's not many things that get me angry enough to make a video, but what he is saying is so far away from the truth that I cannot believe that anyone would believe such a thing. And even you Democrats would have to call this man a liar. He is straight up lying.